This is the 442 podcast.
Welcome back to the 442 podcast. This is our third episode, and we had lots of games, lots to talk about this week. So I think we're going to start off with the Champions League, which was midweek. I feel like we called a lot of the predictions were pretty spot on, other than I don't think either of us were going to call Arsenal beating PSV 7-1.
Not even close, because they haven't scored any goals. How did they manage to score 7?
It was insane, and PSV looked like they didn't know how to defend at all.
Yeah, they were terrible. Made all kinds of mistakes.
Like, what was happening there?
Yeah, it's weird, because, I think they're a good side. It was just one of those nights. Well, I know one thing because I talked to you about this. Arsenal, I think, had 8 shots and 7 goals. 8 shots on target and 7 goals. So it's pretty crazy. You don't usually see those kind of statistics where, you take 8 shots and 7 of them go in.
Yeah.
That's pretty unusual.
Crazy.
But yeah, there was some horrendous defending. They just were complete of it. Because I think they beat you guys in the group stage, right? Weren't they the only team that beat you? I think it was them.
Yeah, it was them. I think we had one more loss, but yeah. It's crazy.
So Arsenal was far enough. And it wasn't like it was just one person. I think the goals were spread around between different players.
It was definitely spread around. And then the Liverpool PSG game was something else.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. That was so one-sided. And Liverpool were just hanging on for dear life. Couldn't get anything together. Everyone was off. The only player, admittedly, who was on fire was Alisson, I think. He looked like the best goalie in the world. He made so many saves. I think it was something like 10 saves and just unbelievable performance. He kept you guys in it. And without him, and I think Van Dijk was solid, but Alisson really stood out.
PSG just looked so good. I can't believe that was like, I don't watch PSG week in and week out, but from what I've seen, that team that they currently have, they don't really have as many stars other than Dembele, and they were just so cohesive. They were amazing. And Liverpool, they just looked like a shell of themselves. They were kind of sitting back, just absorbing like shot after shot, pressure after pressure. And Alisson literally saved us the entire game. Man of the match, best performance I've ever seen by a goalie ever
in the Champions League. Definitely.
It was incredible. Some of the saves he's making, he's just as good as when we signed him, and I'm so happy we have him. That performance was just out of this world. So I can't believe we somehow pulled the win. Well, and I was saying when we were watching the game, I was like, maybe he's probably going to bring on Darwin, and then I was like, he could bring on Elliott because Salah. Salah just was not on it for some reason.
Yeah, he was off. He looked tired.
Most of the team was off, but Salah especially, he didn't do anything. So Slot just again making those good decisions with the substitutes, brings on Harvey Elliott and Darwin, and then Darwin gets a nice assist to Elliott. What a goal! And I was just praying for a tie, and we got the win. So I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's a get out of jail free card there. It's unbelievable how they did that. And he's done it before in the league. He's brought on subs. I think there was a game where Jota came on and scored, and lots of times when he's been able to change it and get results. And you've seen that consistently. And this was probably the biggest one of all because it was so one-sided. Liverpool. I don't know if it's because of being off with the FA Cup week. And you're in a rhythm, and now you stop, and you get that interruption of not having 2 games a week. And they looked sluggish and just no cohesiveness, and so many mistakes, so many giving the ball away. And it was all PSG, and PSG were just next level. They were closing down Liverpool so quickly, and then they'd attack. It was I can't believe you got a win out of that. I really can't. I was thinking the best that could happen would be a tie.
Yeah. Me too. I was literally, I thought they were going to score. First of all, there was a couple chances that probably should have gone in, but Alisson again making crazy saves. And then, I was like, just let's get a tie in Paris. We'll go back to Anfield and win. But then, somehow we scrape by, we get the win. I feel like that's been kind of a theme for Liverpool sometimes they're just not quite on it, but we still manage to find the results. And that was clear this week. And I think, I don't think the strategy and the performance will be the same when we go to Anfield. I feel like we're going to win that, and it's going to be more of a clear, concise result, because that game was just, we didn't deserve it, honestly.
Yeah, I know. You have to show up in that game, because even if it's Anfield, if PSG plays the way they do and Liverpool plays the way they did, but that shouldn't happen at Anfield. But that was a bit of a carryover into the league game against Southampton, I think. But just not really being cohesive and not stringing passes together and not being able to break down the defense that Southampton put up. But yeah, it'll be a different game. I mean,
Yeah.
something about Liverpool at Anfield, they make magic. I mean, that Barcelona game a few years ago when they were down 3-0 and they came in and beat Barcelona. So it shouldn't happen, but it could happen.
Right.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen because of how good PSG. I didn't know how good they were, and they are. They're more of a team now. They don't
Yep.
rely on Messi or Neymar. They're much other than Dembele, but much more of a team.
Much more of a team, way more cohesive. And then we had Real Madrid barely beating Atletico 2-1. I mean, we both kind of called that, but it was close. I mean, I
Yeah.
really thought Atletico could have got the draw, and it was out Real Madrid. So honestly, that one's not over.
Yeah, Atletico's still in that because it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, it was only 2-1.
Yeah,
So
just 2-1. Simeone, he's a great coach.
yeah,
He's got a really good team, and that could go either way in the next leg.
yeah. What do you think going back to Atletico, or do you think Atletico's gonna pull it out? Maybe like extra time penalties because it's only a 1 goal deficit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I've made it clear I don't like Real Madrid,
yeah.
so I'm going to go with Atletico, and I think it's going to be a 2-1 result and going to go to overtime and penalties.
And
Atletico's going to win it on penalties.
That would be great.
Exciting.
I'm
the
looking
neutral.
forward to that game.
Yeah.
If that happens, it's definitely possible. So yeah, we'll see for that one. And then we both think Liverpool's gonna scrape by. Hopefully, and go win at Anfield. Hopefully, it's a clear cut game, and then they're just through. And then one that I was really surprised was Bayern just completely handled Leverkusen 3-0 at home.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I know it was at Bayern, but that was a surprise. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I know they had the red card, so it definitely gave them an
Yeah.
advantage. And then you had Kane, he's putting the penalties away. I think there were 2 penalties in that one, and then Musiala scored the other. So they're in the driver's seat on that one. I mean, they can just go and play it safe there and get out of that and get through. I think Bayern's going through against Leverkusen with that 3 advantage.
I would agree. I think Leverkusen would need a miracle to come out of that, go back to Leverkusen and somehow win 3-0 and then hope for penalties, but it's not looking likely.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm putting my money on Bayern on this one.
Me too. So I had Leverkusen, coming out of that, so that'll be a shock for me, but and then Barcelona, I mean, they didn't really play that great. I thought they were going to like handle Benfica no problem, but they only won 1-0 and they got a red card. So
Yeah.
Benfica, it was at Benfica, so Barca should go back home.
Yeah.
They should win, but what do you think of that result with only 1-0?
Yeah, I expected more from Barcelona, but they had 10 men and they managed to get the result, kind of like Liverpool. I think going back to the new camp, they're going to win. So
definitely.
I can't imagine that Benfica is going to go there and beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see that happening. So Barca should go through, and then we both pretty much thought Inter was going to win. They won 2-0 at Feyenoord, so that was an away win. So they should go through as well.
Yeah, I'm putting my money on them as well.
Yeah, so Inter's probably chilling, and then Aston Villa at Club Brugge, they won 3-1. I had Villa going through, but I didn't think they were going to do that well in the first leg.
Me neither. I thought it would be a lot closer.
Yeah.
Club Brugge did well in the group phase.
Yeah, they did.
And so I was surprised. So they're looking good to go through as well. Villa going back to Villa Park in the driver's seat, really.
Yep.
So
they're continuing their form, really. And then Dortmund was 1-1 against Lille. I thought Dortmund was going to win that game, so that was a kind of a shock.
Yeah, especially at Dortmund.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a surprise there. So anything could happen in the return fixture to Lille on that one. So I still have Dortmund going through, but
Me too.
It's more of a toss-up. But I was surprised at that result.
It's not going to be easy. I think that one's kind of up in the air, but
Yeah.
I still think Dortmund's going to scrape by, but Lille could definitely do it. So it'll be interesting. We got all the games coming up, second leg this week.
Make or break.
Make or break. This is it. So we'll see. So much coming up. So I'm excited for all those games. And then going into the Premier League, we had some interesting results. Again, going off of what we were talking about with Liverpool. Not the best performance ever.
No, especially at the beginning of the
Yeah.
game. Southampton was in it, and then they took the lead. It was a mistake. Uncharacteristically, Van Dijk and Alisson got their wires crossed, and I think it was more Van Dijk's fault than Alisson.
So a rare mistake from Van Dijk.
You don't see him usually,
Yeah.
so that was a surprise. And just didn't look in sync. I mean, Salah again, he didn't look. He looked. I mean, a lot of the players looked tired.
Yep.
They really did. And so, but Slot, he just figures things out. And like you said, he made those moves. I mean, right off the bat from halftime, I think he brought on Curtis Jones. Who else did he bring on? Curtis Jones. He switched out. Obviously, Darwin was still in. Who else did he bring on? Jota, right? It was Jota playing. No, Jota came on, I think. Yeah. So made those changes, and then later, obviously, with Salah and the penalties, I think they played much better in the second half after
Definitely.
the changes. And Robinson came on for Samikas, who had the yellow card. So he's very good about, managing the game, that kind of game management with cards, losing players. I mean, I don't think there's been too many instances that I can remember of, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, where you've been down to 10 men. He's straight red, but if it's a yellow, he's got the feel for it, and he knows, oh, I got to make a sub. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to get in a situation where I'm short a player. And
Right.
many times he's done that strategically, and it just worked really well. And that's why you're, 15 points ahead now.
And Darwin, we forgot about Darwin. He had a great finish.
Oh, yeah.
So
That was something else, wasn't it? Yeah.
he's catching a little streak of form, assists in the midweek Champions League game, and then scores on the weekend. What's going on with Darwin? We were just kind of ragging on him last week, so that's kind of crazy. But I'm glad for him. I'm happy that he scored.
Turn it around. I think he was the one that was fouled for the second penalty for Salah, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Him. Yeah, he got right after his goal. He was fouled, and then they had the penalty. So yeah, that was a good turnaround. And yeah, maybe we were joking about it. Maybe Darwin will have a good game, and sure enough, here he is.
Maybe he listened to the podcast and that motivated him to score.
Yeah, yeah, and he did some really good defending again from corners.
He
I think he
did.
made some good headers, and he was solid in our last little discussion about that. So
Exactly. And then, yeah, so that takes Liverpool, like you said, 15 points. We're on 70 points with 29 games played, which is insane. I want to say this is done and dusted. I'm not even kind of worried about Arsenal anymore, especially today. Arsenal tied United.
barely
It's
tied.
just
Yeah.
it's just classic Arsenal though. They go have an amazing game, 7-1 in the midweek, and you think, oh, they're gonna go on a great run of form, and then they tie Man United.
Yeah.
It's like, what? How does that even happen?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and they were down. I mean, they had to come back. I
Yep.
think Rice scored the
The
equalizer.
Rice goal was nice, I will say.
Yeah, that was a good goal, but you're right. I mean, they had a great game midweek in the Champions League, and then not so great at Old Trafford. Which, let's face it, I mean, United's not the strongest team out there to beat. So
Exactly.
and I think United would have been in 16th place if they lost. I think they're in 15th now, or anyway, I don't exactly remember, but they're way down there. And so you would expect Arsenal to win that game.
You would. I mean, I said a tie,
You
so
called a
I
tie.
did call it.
Yeah.
But it's still surprising and great news for you and all the Chelsea fans. Chelsea is now back in the top four.
Oh yeah, we're right there now. We're back in it. Like we talked about, it could be 5 teams this year, just
Yeah.
the way it is. But we're back in the top four. I think we're only a few points behind Forest to get up to third even. The only thing I would say about the Chelsea game was disappointing. Cole Palmer missed his first penalty. I think that's his first penalty
What's
in the Premier
happening?
League.
We've already talked about how his form's been kind of over the last month or so. What's going on?
He's cold. I mean,
He's
really
very
is
cold.
He had Tuchel was there, obviously looking for the England players for the upcoming international break, and he did not impress. He had a few moves here and there, but that penalty, he has not missed a penalty. I think he had 14 penalties, and he hasn't missed a single penalty in the Premier League. That was his first one. Did not look confident. He hit it hard and low, but before he just had a different level of confidence, and he's lost that now. But fortunately, we had Cucurella who came in, and got the goal to make the difference. But Leicester played pretty well. They played a bit kind of reminiscent of Ipswich. Played really well, but didn't get nothing out of them.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then Cucurella, I want to say he's been Chelsea's probably best player this year. I don't know. Would you agree with that? I think he's probably one of the best players of this season for Chelsea.
I think so too. I mean, I started out with Cole Palmer, but he's really
Yeah.
dropped off. And Cucurella, not only does he defend very well, he's fast and he gets up in attack. Often he's in the box and he's had chances and he scored a few goals. And there was even a situation, because I was watching the game, and where he, right at the end of the game, did a really nice defensive play, tackled, kicked it out for a throw in. But yeah, he's solid defensively, but can get forward. And yeah, I would put him up there definitely, because it's not Cole Palmer anymore. Let's face it.
It's not surprisingly. I mean, I really like Palmer, so I hope he turns it around. I mean, I know he's still so young, so if this isn't his
Yeah.
best year, it's okay, but
He's got time, but he did not impress the England manager.
no, definitely not. And then Tottenham tying Bournemouth. I mean, I feel like that's pretty standard for them. They're, 2-2, nothing too unpredictable out of that. And then Villa continues their form. They are on it. They just
Yeah.
beat Brentford 1-0.
Ollie Watkins, I think, right? So
Yeah, Ollie Watkins scored a really nice goal, and then they're actually kind of inching towards the top four right now. They're on 45 points, and you guys are on 49, Chelsea.
yeah.
So they're not far back. What do you think Villa has a chance of catching up to the top four?
I think so. I mean, they made it last year, and so they're. I don't think they're not as good as they were last year, but they're building now.
Yeah.
Now with the players they brought on, Ascension and Rashford, definitely they're in a good position. And yeah, I think they've got a shot, especially if it goes to five. And Forest continues to play well. Well, we know what happened to. I think it was City lost to them 1-0 right at
Yeah,
the end.
oh man, that was what a game. I mean,
Yeah, that was good, and it was at the end too. And it was a former Chelsea player, Hudson-Odoi, I
it
think,
was.
and scored the goal near post. Looked like a complete mistake by Alisson. I mean, to squeeze that through.
Ederson should have scored.
Yeah,
Or should have saved that.
he should have saved
He
that
really
one.
should have.
So I was happy about that because that put Chelsea in a good position. I knew we were going to pass them to be in the top four, so that worked out well. But yeah, they continue to impress. I know they're very good at home, but they're right there, and they have been. And
Yeah.
that was a huge surprise this year. Nottingham Forest being in the top.
That Forest performance that summed up their season. They're so strong defensively.
Yeah,
Such a unit as a team, and they have so much pace going forward as well. They really connect well. They just played so well against that City game. I was really impressed with that. So they continue their form. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no way they're not going to make top four at this rate.
yeah. I think they have to. I mean,
Yeah.
they've done so well, and the coaches fit in really nicely. And like you said, they attack with pace. They defend really well, and they have so much pace going forward, and they take advantage of it. They don't blow it. I mean, they get the opportunities and they put it away very well. So
Exactly. It'll be fun to see them in the Champions League next year. It'll be interesting to see if they sign anybody because they might need some reinforcements if they want to make a run next year. But they got a strong team, so they're definitely a team to look out for next year for the title race if they continue to keep their keep their players.
if they can add to that squad,
Add to it. Yep.
they don't have a lot of depth. I think
They don't have depth. That's their
yeah,
weakness.
is their weak. Yeah, absolutely. So if they could improve on that and get some depth, bring some new players in,
Definitely.
but they're a good team.
They are a very strong team. And then we still have one more game. West Ham versus Newcastle at West Ham.
Yeah.
What do you think about that game?
Well, I know it's at West Ham, but Newcastle should beat them. But they're another team that goes up and down too. And
They're very hot and cold, yeah.
I'm sure they want to win going into the Caribou Cup final because that's the following weekend.
It is.
Sunday. So, and West Ham, they're just hovering around the relegation zone too. And so I would think, that Newcastle should beat West Ham. The only thing West Ham has going for them really is they are at home and they can play better there. But I would think Newcastle's going to win that one. I know that Newcastle's got some injury problems though too.
They do.
I don't know if Lewis Hall's recovered from his knock, and then I think Isak had a knock, and so
I think Isak's back now, so
okay,
should be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would agree though. I think I would take Newcastle tomorrow.
I would think so. I can't imagine, but yeah. So West Ham's not doing great, and they're slipping towards that danger zone as well. But it looks still pretty solid with Leicester losing, Ipswich losing, Southampton losing. The bottom three looks pretty solidified.
Still set in stone. I'm pretty sure they're all going down. Sadly,
Yes.
That's the second year in a row that's happened.
Yes.
Where all the three teams that go up go down.
Yeah.
And that hadn't happened in like 30 years or something, where it's
Yeah.
happened back-to-back seasons.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks for the championship teams.
It does, because it's like, well, we'll go up and then we'll come right back down.
Right. A little sad there. And then coming up next week, like you said, we have that Liverpool final against Newcastle for Carabao Cup.
Yeah.
So they don't play in the Premier League. And then other than that, we got some interesting games. We got Man City at home to Brighton. That's not an easy game, and they're both fighting for that fourth spot. So that should be very good.
That'll be a close game.
Who do you think's going to win that one?
That's a coin toss on that one, but since it's at City and they're going to want to get back after losing to Forest, but it's going to be very close. But I have City on that one.
You have City?
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. But yeah, I don't see City losing back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
It may be a tie for me. I'm going to go like a 1-1 tie for that
Yeah, I'd
game.
say a win or a tie, but I don't think Brighton's going to win that game.
Okay, that's fair. And then Arsenal-Chelsea, we got a derby at Arsenal. That's a big one for you. So what do you think about that game?
Chelsea all the way.
You think they're going to take it?
Hey, we won the last 2 games. I know.
I'm going to be rooting for you just because Arsenal's the only team close to Liverpool, even though it's not that close. But I'll be rooting for Chelsea. So
It should be a close game because this is a derby and they always are.
Mhm.
But obviously I'm going to be with Chelsea, and Arsenal's been so up and down. But yeah, I say Chelsea 2-1.
Chelsea 2-1.
Cole Palmer's going to score. He's going to get a brace.
He's going to get back into it.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to say 2-1 Chelsea as well. I think that's possible. So
Yep.
let's say that. Hopefully it happens. And then Fulham Tottenham, that's another pretty good game. I think Fulham's gonna win though. It's at home.
Yeah,
Anything for that one?
especially at Craven Cottage, and Tottenham still are struggling. I mean, today they came back to get a tie, but
Yeah.
they just make too many errors, too many mistakes defensively. I mean, I think one of the goals today against Bournemouth, I was watching some highlights from that game, and it was a pass that was short to Brendan Johnson, and the player that I think Liverpool's going to try to get, that Kirkes,
Yeah.
their left back, he intercepted it. He basically ran the length of the field and put an absolutely perfect cross into Tavernier, I think it was, and he scored. And so that was a giveaway, So they've given too many goals up from their mistakes.
Right.
And I think Fulham will win that one. It's at Fulham. Fulham's got a good team.
They
And
do.
so,
Very strong.
yeah, I'd put my money on Fulham for that one.
Okay. Yeah, I would say so too. And then we got our team Ipswich playing Nottingham Forest at home. For some reason, I feel like Ipswich might show up. I like to say this every week, but I feel like they've been on a really long time before, like without a win. So I could see them pulling that upset against Nottingham Forest. What about you?
I think so too. I mean, they've been in games very close. I mean, this game against Palace are playing really well, and they were in it all the way till maybe the 80th minute, I think, when Sarr scored. But they had, I think, as many shots. I mean, it was close, back and forth. I mean, it was pretty open, 0-0 at halftime, going all the way into like the 80th minute, I think, and when Crystal Palace finally scored. But they've had a lot of games like that where they've been close and they just can't get past
Can't
either
quite
a
do it.
tie or a loss, and they just can't get over the line. But they've proven that they beat Tottenham, they beat Chelsea. It's been a while. I think the last win was Chelsea in November.
Long time.
And they played they played Forest really close in the FA Cup and lost on penalties. So it's at home. They need a win, and yeah, I'm going with Ipswich on this one.
Going with Ipswich? Okay. Yeah.
Good as Forest are playing this season, I'm going with Ipswich.
I like that. I'm gonna go with Ipswich too. I'm gonna say maybe like a 2-1 or a 3-1 Ipswich. Delap gets a couple goals maybe. That's my prediction, but we'll see. We'll see. Ipswich, we can hope. They're
Dream.
we can
right?
dream. Yeah, and then kind of interesting, more towards the bottom half of the table. Leicester is playing Man United at home.
Isn't that weird in that conversation to say Matt at the bottom of the table?
Bottom of the table.
Right?
Yep.
Leicester, so.
I'm gonna say, I feel like United's gonna. I don't know. I could see it going either a tie or United win, but I just don't see Leicester winning. What about you?
Yeah, because I mean, I know it's at home, but Leicester hasn't scored, I don't know how long at home, and they're on a horrible run. I mean, they played actually pretty decent against Chelsea, and they had some chances. I know Vardy had a chance in the second half, but yeah, I think United, as much as I personally don't like United, I think they're actually going to win that one because Leicester just does not look good. And,
Yeah.
they have moments, but they also, just like those other bottom teams, they make one mistake and it costs them.
Right.
They get punished for it. So, yeah, I'm going with United. 1-0. It's not going to be a high scoring game.
Going with United. Okay, we'll see. And then Southampton Wolves, not the most exciting game. What about you for that one?
There's a relegation battle, although Wolves
Yeah.
are out of the bottom three, not by far.
Yep.
Wolves, because Southampton they can't win.
Yep.
I mean, they played pretty well against Liverpool in that first half.
They like to play well against Liverpool. I don't know why.
They get pumped
just
against
us for some reason.
But yeah, they continue to make mistakes, and I can't see that. Yeah, I think Wolves is going to win that one, and they're looking like they can do enough to stay out of trouble and not avoid that relegation, even though there's still quite a few games left. I put my money on Wolves for that one against Southampton.
Okay. And then Everton West Ham. I think I'm gonna say that one's kind of a toss-up, but I think Everton's actually gonna win that one.
Yeah, I think Everton too, because it's at Everton, right, on that one.
It is at Everton.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, West Ham are right down there. I know Everton's not much higher up from them in the bottom half of the table, but yeah, I think at home, Matt Goodison, I believe Everton's going to win that one. And let's go 2-1 on that one.
2-1. Okay. Yeah, I think that's very possible. And then the last game, Bournemouth Brentford. I gotta go Bournemouth. They've been pretty solid. They've been in form. Brentford's they've been iffy this year. They're not as strong as they used to be. So I'm taking Bournemouth. I think they're gonna win probably like 1-0 or 2-0.
Yeah, I think Bournemouth's going to win that one. I like Bournemouth this year. They played really well. They've got some good players out there, and they're able to string it together. I can't see them losing that game. And Brentford has blooded this year. They've
Yeah.
not been the same team that they were in
No.
previously last year. So
Definitely. And then we had some comments about Man United. Lots of people think they're going to be back. They think they're going to come back soon. They're going to be back in form. Other people were saying that we were ragging on United, and that there's, people just are Man United fans because in the US they don't know. What do you think about that? Do you think Man United's going to they're going to make a comeback at some point?
not anytime soon. I mean, definitely not this season. I know because they have financial problems too, with just the way they've spent money on players, and so I think it's Ratcliffe. I think he's a 29% owner of the team, and he's been put in kind of as the axeman, and they're cutting positions within the club, the back room and everything. So I think they're just trying to consolidate what they have, and then they're going to rebuild. But right now, financially, they're not in a great position, and there's still a lot of dislike with the fans and the owners as well. So I cannot see them building anything this year. And maybe in next season it can be, a different story, and it might be a different manager. But we'll see. But I do not see United coming good anytime soon. It's going to be a long process.
I think it's more like towards the 10-year time frame. 5 years on the short end, somewhere in the 5 to 10 year, maybe they'll be back to a solid top 4 team.
Yeah.
But it's going to take some time for sure. I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I think a 5-year plan would probably be better if they can get things together, get the right coach, get the right players. But yeah, it's not looking good, and I know we're going to get some comments again from the United fans, I'm sure, because we are a little biased, by the way.
A little biased, but it's also because Man U was so dominant when I was like just getting into the Premier League, and they were winning all the time. It was basically how City is now, and that's why I just didn't like them. They have that rivalry with Liverpool for the most titles. So there's a big rivalry between Man U and Liverpool. So that's why I'm just not gonna like them. It's hard not to be. And same with you. You don't like them either.
Same reason, because they were the best team, and everybody loved them. And so no, if you're not a Man U fan, you're gonna be a hater, right? So that's how it is.
It's just how it is. I think there's a lot of Man U haters out there, but now it's like they're not even close to being good. So they're kind of just like a laughing stock. They're a joke, honestly.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I know, there's gonna be Man U people out there who think it's gonna happen sooner, but time will tell.
Not me.
Not us probably, but so I wanted to play a little game. I came up with some players, and I wanted to ask these players, what would they do in life if they were not professional footballers? So, are you ready for the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so for the first player, I got Erling Haaland.
Okay.
So what do you think he would do for his career if he wasn't a professional footballer?
Well, he's a big lad, as we know, and he's Norwegian. So I think he would be a Norwegian fisherman on a trawler, pulling up the nets with his bare hands.
Okay, that's probably a good answer. He looks like a character out of House of Dragon as well.
Oh, Targaryen.
Yeah, he could be a Targaryen. Otherwise, I think he looks like a construction worker just because he's big.
Yeah.
He's strong. I feel like construction would be good for him. But yeah, I agree. Fisherman, yeah, that's probably more relatable to where he's from. So I like that answer. How about Cole Palmer?
Cole Palmer, I think he's a funny guy. So I would say comedian, actually.
Comedian.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
I mean, in a different kind of way, definitely have his special.
Like a dry humor kind of performance.
Yes, he would.
Okay.
I think he could do stand up, and he would be hilarious.
I think he would just go up on stage, start talking about anything. It could be nonsense, and then people would start laughing, and he would be like, "What are you laughing at?" Like he would say something like that,
Yeah,
Be like, "Why is that funny?"
There's comedians that do that, and I think he'd be perfect for that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a good one. For me, I had him working at McDonald's, just because he's talked about he kind of likes to eat whatever and likes just junk food. So I could see him as like a McDonald's drive-through worker, but who knows?
Yeah, that's a good one. He would, because he'd eat a lot of the the burgers.
The burgers, exactly. And then next, I had Darwin Nunez. What do you think he would be doing?
If he wasn't a professional player, Darwin, what would he be doing? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's a tricky one.
Do you want to hear my answer?
Yeah, go ahead.
For Darwin, I put he'd be a bouncer or like security guard at a club.
Yeah, he's feisty.
He's feisty. He's kind of intimidating looking.
He is. He's got the tats and everything.
I think he'd be a good bouncer. What about you?
He's aggressive.
Yeah, you think so?
I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then for Allison on Liverpool, the goalie, I had him as a finance bro. He looks like he would be working for, some company like Charles Schwab or something, and he'd be trading stocks or on Wall Street, something like that. I don't know. I could see him as like a stockbroker. What about you?
That's good. The way he looks with his beard and everything, I guess you could see him in Silicon Valley. He could be
Okay,
a
okay.
coder. He
A
could
coder?
be like Silicon Valley, the TV show.
Okay.
He could be one of those guys.
Like software engineer or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's fair. And then Adama Traore, how about for him?
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Pretty obvious.
The guy, I mean, looks like, he's so damn big, the guy, and he says it's natural, which is hard to believe. Bodybuilder.
Bodybuilder.
He looks like a bodybuilder.
He's got to be a bodybuilder. When is he competing? I want to know. I feel like he has to do it at some point. Once he retires from soccer, he should go compete in shows.
Yeah, because he looks like he plays in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, the size of the guy.
Oh, yeah. He should be a running back.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Robert Lewandowski. What career is he doing?
Yeah, Lewandowski. Tell me what you got on that one.
Lewandowski, I got him as a lawyer. I feel like he looks like put together, and I feel like imagine him in a suit pulling up, to the court.
Okay.
He just, I don't know. I could see him being a lawyer.
Yeah, headmaster. Or sorry, principal.
A principal of school.
Professional.
Yeah.
Right?
I could see it. I could definitely see that. Next, we got Cucurella on Chelsea.
Cucurella, yeah, I think he'd be a shampoo model.
Okay.
Out there.
Okay.
I wish I had that much hair, but I think he could do commercials for shampoo.
Okay, that's definitely respectable with how much hair he has. For me, I got him as like a chef or a cook.
Okay.
I don't know. I see him back in the kitchen cooking up something.
Yeah.
That's Cucurella cooking. Like, I don't know. It kind of
ring to it.
Yeah, it kind of fits.
Yeah.
And then next we got Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire, yeah, I think Harry Maguire to me, and if anyone's watching this in England, they'll get it, but a bin man. And in other words, for the American audience, that's someone who picks up the trash. So,
Okay. So like he's a garbage man?
Garbage man, yeah, a bin man. So
See, we're roasting United again.
sorry, I can't help it.
Okay. That's for me. I had him as a PE teacher.
Oh, okay, that's nicer.
It's a little nicer. Yeah, he just looks like a PE teacher. I don't know.
He does, yeah. I see that.
And then next we have Kai Havertz on Arsenal.
All right, what do you got for him?
I got him as a DJ. I feel like he kind of has that look. He'd be like an underground house, deep house DJ.
Yeah, he's got that look. He doesn't smile a lot, so serious.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with that, DJ. Yeah.
Okay. And then last we have Chris Wood. What job would Chris Wood be doing for you?
Chris Wood, since he's from New Zealand, I think he could have been an orc, like stand-in for Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings?
It was filmed in New Zealand.
Okay.
He's a big guy. He could have been, he could just be a stunt orc, basically.
Just be an orc?
Yeah.
In makeup and everything?
Absolutely.
Okay. I like it. And then for me, I put Chris Wood. He looks like a sales rep or like a hedge fund guy for me.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. That's pretty different. An orc or
very different. What if could you combine being an orc with being in a hedge fund, like being a hedge fund guy?
Yeah, you'd be pretty intimidating, wouldn't you?
Be a hybrid?
Yeah.
You think that could work?
Yeah, you'd be aggressive, but yeah, that would be pretty scary.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, like Lord of the Rings universe, they could implement that.
I know. I think so. We're onto something there, I think.
Maybe. Okay. Well, that was my game for the week. Did you have anything else to add on coming up for the future games? Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think in this month we're going to get to see Thomas Tuchel as the England manager, so I'm kind of excited about that to see what he's all about. He's going to have some challenges though, because some of the players that were great, like Foden, has been really off. Cole Palmer, another one. He's got to figure out the goalkeeper situation, and so I'm very excited to see what he can do with the England players, and that's going to be his first games this month in the international break. So that's something I'm looking forward to. And then I know you're looking forward to Liverpool and seeing the soonest they can clinch the title.
Yep.
All right. So.
Very, very excited for that. Is Tuchel gonna be a Trent fan?
Yeah.
What do you think? You think he's gonna play him? Because I know England in the past has not. They haven't really liked Trent at right back. Is he gonna be a fan of playing him?
In midfield. I mean, you
think so?
He could try that. I mean, there are some decent right backs, and so he could move him up into midfield. He can try. I mean, he can experiment. He's got some time. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because with his style, how he's played at Chelsea, and Trent's defensive liability sometimes. He's been pretty good recently, though, admittedly. So, but I think he'll include him in the squad and give him a try, and just to see if he fits in his plan. But I don't think he really sees him as the England right back, honestly, just because of who he's going to be facing defensively, and he'd need a lot of cover.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I hope Trent's playing, but we had some comments saying that Trent's not going to be leaving Liverpool. So we're still getting mixed reviews. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with Trent, but I hope he stays in Liverpool, and then I hope Tuchel starts playing him for England. That's my hope for him.
Yeah, he's never really had a good run with England, so
Yep, that'll be interesting. And then next week we have that Liverpool game, the Liverpool final. So we'll
Yeah.
be recording after the final. So hopefully I'll be in a good mood, and Liverpool have just won their first
Yeah.
trophy of the year with Slot.
Right.
So
Well, you
that's
should.
what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. I mean, you should.
We should.
Because Anthony Gordon was sent off, and they're not appealing it, and so I think he's one of their better players. They've got some injury concerns. You really don't have any injury concerns, so you're looking solid. I mean, other than being a bit sluggish against PSG, of course, you still got that game to come before that final. But yeah, I mean, I would be shocked if Newcastle won that. I mean,
Me too.
It should be your first trophy, but anything can happen in a cup game, so a cup final.
True. Dang. Well, that about wraps it up. So thank you guys for watching or listening. We appreciate the support. Hit the like button, subscribe, give us a review. We appreciate all of the help, and share it out to a friend. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.